Hi everyone, John here, back again. Literally just got in from the last home game of the year, I suppose. And when I say year, I mean year, not season like everyone else seems to refer to. Of West Ham versus Newcastle. It finished West Ham 2, Newcastle 3. To quote Dylan Thomas, to begin at the beginning with the team sheet. There was a couple of changes. There was a change from the league squad anyway. Adrian in goal again. Zabaleta at right wing back. Creswell at left wing back. In the middle we had Reid, Ogbonna and Creswell. Sorry, Masuaku at left wing back. So we had the back three of Reid, Ogbonna and Creswell again. Coati came in for Lanzini because obviously he's serving the second of his 2-match ban. Obiang, Arnautovic and Ayew and Antonio up front. On the bench we had Hart, Rice, Collins, Quina, Sacco, Carroll and Hernandez, aka Chicharito. To be honest with you, it wasn't that bad a game all over. To be honest, I mean we were shit in the first half. Arnautovic put us up 1-0 in the very, very early stages, I think about 2 or 3 minutes in. So that's 3 games in, three goals in 4 games for him. Great result for, he's really starting to kick on a bit. He played really, really well today. Then it was about 4 minutes later, Newcastle equalised, so it was 1-1. It was a bit of, both teams weren't looking very confident. Newcastle appeared at the start of the game to be set up for a draw. They didn't really offer much, but all of a sudden, as I say, that they came alive. Really, really came alive. Newcastle's equaliser came about because of 2 free kicks in about 3 minutes. Practically both in the same position. The first one was well off. Second one went straight in. Brilliantly taken goal, to be fair. But as I say, it shouldn't have happened. Really shouldn't have happened. Obiang was at fault for the first free kick. I can't remember who gave it away for the second. The referee, to be honest, wasn't exactly card happy, but there was a lot of stuff that should have been booked. Players should have been booked for. So anyway, I say 1-1, and then with the second half, if I remember right. 2 very sloppy goals from a defensive point of view. It was 2-1 and then we got a penalty. One of those Newcastle idiots really slid into I think it was Ayew, I think. Actually it might be Kawhi, I'm not sure. I've made notes, I've literally just got back. But yeah, it was so Ayew steps up to take the penalty. Rash challenge from the Newcastle player, absolutely rash challenge. As everyone was arguing with all the Newcastle supporters were arguing with the ref. All but one of them was arguing, but one of the guys went up to the keeper and whispered something in his ear once he saw that it was Ayew taking the penalty. I personally think he was giving him guidance as to where Ayew was going to go. Ayew went down to the keeper's left, Ayew's right, goal was saved. Penalty was saved, I should say. It wasn't the best of penalties, he stuttered. Ayew stuttered, or hesitated, whichever way you want to define it. Now, if he hadn't have stuttered and just smacked it straight in without hesitating, then it could have been a very, very different game. It could have been 2-2. But as it turned out, it wasn't. And about a minute 2 minutes maybe later, Newcastle countered and bam, 3-1. Geordie supporters, as always, made a lot of noise, a lot more. Once the equaliser went in, our atmosphere just disappeared like that. The atmosphere at the start of the game was brilliant, but when it was 1-1, just there was no atmosphere whatsoever. Then in the second half, as I say, about 10, the last 20, 25, maybe 30 minutes, we were absolutely at another level, absolutely brilliant. And Antonio came off, who again was having a shit game. I love him to bits, but he's clearly not ready for these games yet. There's clearly something going on with him. And Carroll comes on, who was useless, to be honest. Apart from a couple of pat downs with his chest, was joking with him. We've been joking for a few weeks with a mate of mine that he's our best defender, and he is. He's great at midfield work. He's great at defending stuff. He's great at the knockdowns. He's great at he's great at passing. He just doesn't score. It just doesn't seem to be bothered to be scored. I know this is Newcastle, his old team, hometown team, and when he was warming up, he was chatting to a couple of the Newcastle players as well as they were warming up. But yeah, we need to get rid of him in January. We really, really do. We need to get a decent goal scorer. Now we've got a decent goal scorer in Hernandez, who he came on later on for Kawati, I think. So no, sorry. Yeah, Kawati. Sorry, Obiang, I should say. To be honest, the reason why I'm hesitating to remember a lot of this stuff is I haven't been back home long, didn't do any notes, hadn't done any catch-up work like a lot of the guys do when they do their post-match reactions. It's literally straight after the game. The first available moment I had since I got in. It's difficult. There was a lot of passengers in that game again today, unfortunately, and we haven't seen that for a few weeks. Masuaku was good. Really enjoyed watching him play today. He still can't defend. He really can't defend. Creswell had an on and off game. Adrian, to be fair, wasn't all that busy. The majority of Newcastle's shots were off target. At least one of the three he could have saved. I still think the free kick he could have saved. But it's not down to goalkeepers. As George Graham said when he was in charge of Arsenal, your goalkeeper's only as good as your defence, and our defence is fucking shit at the moment. It is terrible. We've worked bloody hard, but the defence this week over the last 5-6 days, it's been shocking. It's been absolutely shocking. The Arsenal game in the cup, only one shot on target in the entire fucking game, and that was Arsenal's goal. That's it. That's all it was. That's how bad that game was. Defenders could have done better with Welbeck's goal. But anyway, that's another matter. But anyway, just coming back to this. Newcastle had a lot of shots in both the first and second half, and we were bloody lucky to be only 1-1 at the break. They hit both posts. They hit the crossbar in the first half. Second half, as I say, most of it was off target. Good strikes though. It's just typical West Ham. Doesn't matter who's in charge. We always break teams' ducks. They haven't won for donkeys in terms of the league for donkeys years. They haven't. And they beat us 3-2. IU did get an did get the second goal 7 or 8 minutes before the end, before the 90th minute, when he was substituted off for Hernandez in the 80-odd minute. A lot of people booed him, and to be honest, I can see both points. I mean, personally, bar the penalty, he didn't do too bad. He didn't do brilliantly. As I say, there was a lot of passengers in that game today, but he was trying. When he scored the goal and he absolutely thwacked it in, it bounced out of the. He wasn't that far out, to be fair. It was about 5-6 yards. but he walloped it into the goal, and he actually was able to pick it up and run back and ran around the goal, going, tapping the pat, saying, I still love the club, this is, but yeah, as I say, it's just the referee had some shocking decisions. He had to think some basic stuff. I said to Steve next to me today, I honestly think he's looking at the video screens, because the video screens are about a second, 2 seconds behind live play. So I reckon he's looking at the screens and then making his decision from that. Poor refereeing. Nothing to do with us losing. Absolutely nothing to do with us losing whatsoever. In terms of decision making, it was 50-50 from the ref. He was giving them stuff. He was giving us stuff. He wasn't giving us stuff. He wasn't giving them stuff. He put Kouati for diving. I mean, how? I'll never know. But he did. It was a bad challenge. I have to look back on the replay later on. But yeah, it was a bad challenge. So literally at the end of it was 4 minutes of extra time. The usual Newcastle delaying tactics of guys walking about 1 hour, 1 mile a year trying to get off. So at the dying seconds of 5 minutes, when we were still on the attack, the referee blew the whistle. You fucking what? So he got a few Bs for that. But as I say, it ended up we lost 3-2. In a game in a game on paper we should have won. We were the better side, especially in the last half hour of the second half. The first half we were terrible. There was no confidence being played out there whatsoever. And in the second half, it got better. Moyes' decisions in terms of his subs were still too late. I'm hoping he's going to start learning that. When he was at Sunderland, I said that when he was at Man United, I said to him that one of the reasons why it wasn't working was because he was too arrogant and too gung-ho with his decisions. And it's starting to come out in that as well. Okay, yes, we haven't got a big squad. Everybody knows that. We've still got players coming back from injury. This was a game where you could have started Sacco, to be honest. Sacco in front instead of Antonio. I would have personally started Sacco, as I said. The majority, I would have put Rice in the second half to help defend, get some decent, strong legs out there. Bonner didn't do too bad, to be fair. Winston Reid was touch and go for a lot of it. Creswell, as I say it again, touch and go. But overall, it's typical West Ham. It's typical West Ham, letting the team get a win when they shouldn't have deserved it. We didn't deserve to win. It should have been a draw. But that's football. We're now halfway. We've now had the halfway mark game played, and I think we're in the bottom three now. Or if not, very, very close to it. So it is squeaky bum time. But we've still got 18 games left to go. 19 games left to go. So, it's all right. I'm not panicking just yet. As long as Moyes does his remit of keeping us up, I'll be happy with that. I don't care where we finish, as long as we finish 17th and upwards. I always say at the start of the season, top 15. I'll take a 15 finish now. I really would. But anyway, that's it. I've waffled on for longer than I originally planned. I just want to say again, thank you to everybody that subscribed over the last 5 months. It's been brilliant. I'm still on 19 subs. There was 20 at one point, but it's gone back down to 19 when I checked it this morning. My highest rated video so far, highest viewed video so far is the Everton debacle. 600 and something. It's like 670 views. Great news. Thanks for that, guys. I wonder how many of you actually watched it all the way through. But thank you very much for that. So yeah, have a great Christmas, and have a very, very drunken New Year's, which I'm sure most of you guys will. Those of legal age, of course. So some of you that aren't. And I will see you next year. So all the best. Take care now. Bye bye.